Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It is so good to be back here with all of you, and I know it's been a couple weeks since my last video, but I've been dealing with sickness in the house, and so we finally, I think, beat back all the sickness, and so finally have some time to sit down and record a video and all that. But as I was dealing with the sickness this past month between me and Mrs. Stacking Prepper, it kind of was the inspiration a bit for this video, because I realized how unprepared we are medically for a grid down SHTF scenario. So hopefully this video will help give you guys some ideas on some items that you can use to barter with in grid down scenarios, but also give you some ideas of, maybe what to add to your stack. I'm just gonna probably, going forward, I think I'll probably try and just call my prep stack my stack, because they are a part of my stack. I'm stacking everything that I feel is needed for the future of me and my family to get through hard times that, unfortunately, I think are coming our way. So, before we get any further into the video, I'd like to welcome all of you who have stopped by and invite any newcomers to hit the subscribe button, and invite all of you, subscribed or not, to go ahead and hit the thumbs up. It really helps me beat the YouTube algorithm and get out to more people. So welcome, and without further ado, we're going to jump right in. But to start things off, before we get into my list of the top 10 items that you can use for barter besides silver and gold, I want to showcase some new additions to my stack of precious metals that just came in. And I was super excited about these. For one, I got to get the next installment in the Legendary Warrior series. It is Genghis Khan. And as you can see, he sits atop his trusty steed with his falcon or eagle, I'm not sure what they used, on his arm. And you can see some buildings in the background, some looks like Mongolians there, some yurts. And yeah, just a really spiffy coin. The back is still the Legendary Warrior, I guess, seal, all the weapons there. And apparently each weapon is supposed to represent a Legendary Warrior. So we'll see how many coins there are. But yeah, that was that one. And so now I have 4 total. Maybe, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 total now of these. The next one that I got here was another 10th ounce gold coin. And I decided to go ahead and do the Canadian maple leaf. I wanted to give it a try. I heard a lot of good reviews about it, and I am super impressed with it. I really like the finish on there, where you can kind of see the light reflecting off of it. And we got the queen on the face side. Obviously, going forward, you will not have the queen. You will have King Charles going forward. So I decided to pick one up before these disappeared. And then lastly, and this kind of goes, I guess you could say, the start of the top 10 barter items besides silver and gold. And that is another metal. It's not precious metal, but it is another metal. Copper. Now, I wouldn't really suggest doing too much stacking of official copper like this. The premiums are pretty high. and this is of the Aztec calendar here. Premiums are pretty high comparatively to other metals, but I had a little bit left over in the budget when I was buying these two, so I decided to pick up this just to kind of see how it was. But copper itself could be used for barter. So, small change, I guess. If you think about it, most fantasy settings in games or movies will have, there we go, will have these three types of coins: copper coins, silver coins, and gold coins. So, I don't know, like I said, I don't think I would suggest stacking this type of copper, unless you're willing to put out a bit of extra money in premiums on it. But maybe look up, stack old pennies that for sure has a high concentration of copper in it, things like that. So that is number one on the list, was copper. Obviously, you got your silver and gold, but this is things besides silver and gold that you can use for barter. So first up on the list, I'd probably say, is your staples of food and water. I guess I should say number 2 on the list here, because number 1, first one we did was number 10 was copper. So food and water. Now I wouldn't use these as a staple part of your barter items, unless you really trust the person, because the issue that I can think of, oh, my camera moved. The issue I can think of for using food and water for barter is the fact that you're going to put a target on your back, because then people's going to be like, oh, they have so much that they can trade it away for things. So with caution, food and water, again, I wouldn't make this number 1 on the list. Maybe water treatment or water procurement, so like your filters and water tablets, things like that, but not like the water itself. Okay? Again, these are just my suggestions. They're not the be-all to end-all. If you have any suggestions or anything you stack to barter, just comment down below. Another thing that I think would be a hot item for barter would be hygiene. Hygiene is going to be a big thing in a grid down scenario that people are not going to have. So things like toothpaste, deodorant, even just the ability to clean yourself, maybe like alcohol pads, things like that, will be a hot item, I think, for bartering, because, once society shuts down, if society ever shuts down like that, where we're not getting stuff like this to the store, people are going to want it. I mean, just look at during 2020, when toilet paper was a hot item. I mean, come on, guys. Like, you wouldn't think toilet paper would be a hot item, but it was. So things like that, will become a hot item, especially when it is no longer getting made. Another item that I could think of, and this is just a representation, but it's just kind of what I found on hand: medicine. Your medical supplies, medicine, Band-Aids, things like that. Those will be hot items, because, I mean, when you don't have access to a doctor or medicine, a small cut or wound could be life-threatening. A lot of warriors and stuff in the past, when they got wounded, even if it was just a little cut, they were expected that they weren't going to make it, because it'll most likely get infected and then they will die. So, yeah. Medicine, I should say, might be a little hard to get because a lot of medicine that's not over the counter does require prescriptions, and especially prescription drugs will be a hot item, I think. It's particularly antibiotics, because you cannot get antibiotics per se without a prescription. Now, I'm going to throw it out here right now. I'm not a doctor, so definitely consult with your medical professional for any questions you have about this, but an alternative to antibiotics would be pet antibiotics because they are literally the same thing. I was taking a look at dog antibiotics, and they prescribe dogs well, not prescribe dogs, but you pick up amoxicillin for dogs. Well, with my infection I had this past week, I was prescribed amoxicillin. It's the same thing. So you might want to look into pet antibiotics for antibiotics. You may not get as high of a dosage as, say, a doctor could prescribe you. And obviously, definitely do your research on what are safe dosages and what's not. But that could be a way to stack antibiotics. And obviously, you have to look into like expiration dates and I just realized these are expired. Ooh, I'm gonna have to. I mean, it's a gauze bandage, so maybe it won't be as sterile of a gauze bandage, but it's basically a bandage. But still, but yeah, you'll have to keep an eye on expiration dates because some medicines are toxic when they expire. Some just lose their potency. So, I'll go into more detail probably in another video about all of this. So I'm just keeping it simple for now. I'm just, barter items is basically what we're covering. So, moving on then, another good barter item would be skills. So, I don't really have a way to show skills. I don't really have room for a book or anything, but learn a skill. That is the one barter item they cannot take away from you, is a skill. So I'd probably put that as number one. And just learn. You don't have to be proficient in everything, but learn a skill, and also have books and stuff on hand, so that way you can consult them in situations. Because there's no way you're going to be able to learn everything and keep it all in your head. So, but at least with that, even if you have nothing else, you could barter your time and skills to get things that you need. Another thing would be seeds. Let me take this out here, actually, because it's a little big in the bag. So is seeds. There we go. I particularly try to get what's called heirloom seeds, because the goal is to be able to harvest seeds from the plants you take and then replant them, blah, blah, blah. But I see seeds as a type of currency in a grid down, because you can trade it and then they can grow their own food down the line. And it's light, it doesn't weigh very much, so you can carry a lot for little. Only thing you need is time to grow and produce the crops. So, but I do see seeds as a type of currency, a possible currency in a grid down scenario. Next up, I would say would have to be tools. And this tool that I'm showing you here, kind of covers both tools and defense. So, it doesn't have to be this particular tool. You could have a multi-tool. You could have a pew-pew. You can have what goes inside the pew-pews, though I wouldn't suggest bartering with pew-pews, because then you're just giving an ability to someone to come and take your stuff later on. I would much rather barter with the ammunition that goes inside the pew pews, or say like a magazine, or even at best a knife. But you know, obviously with tools, I wouldn't say it's a first choice for barter, but definitely it's there if needed. Next, so that kind of covers 2 of our list there: tools and defense. They kind of go hand in hand, because defensive tools, I don't want to say the other word for it because I don't want to get the video removed from YouTube. But defensive tools kind of go hand in hand with tools. So that's kind of 2 of our list right there, right off the bat. Another thing I would probably say would be pet food, or anything pet related. A lot of people consider their pets part of their family. I know I do. You know, my 3 dogs are family. So pet food, or a way to take care of the pets, pet medication. See, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you get some of those pet antibiotics. Clothing is definitely one, because unless people know how to make clothes will eventually start getting where they're going to be a hot item, I'd say. So definitely consider those. Again, kind of like with food and water, those wouldn't be my first choice for barter. And then lastly, just because I don't want the video to go on for too long, guys. Lastly, I would probably say your vices. So your addiction items, caffeine, tobacco, and alcohol. Now, I don't use any of those. I don't even have any of them in my stack. But there's a lot of people who do use that and do like to use it as an escape mechanism. And people will, especially those who are really addicted, will do anything for some of that stuff. So those could be very hot barter items to have on hand. Now, that's kind of our top 10 list of barter items. I was able to showcase some of them here for you. Others I don't have, or I don't plan to pick up anytime soon, I should say. So I don't have a way to showcase it. But I would have to say, if I had to pick my top items that I'm probably going to stack for barter, besides your silver and gold, I'm probably going to do seeds. I do plan to try to go a little crazy on seeds this spring when stores start selling seeds. And medicine. I'll probably try to stack medicine and not only have enough for myself and my family, but have enough for barter as well. And then hygiene. Those will probably be my top 4 barter items out of the top 10 that you could pick from. So thank you so much if you've made it this far. I really do appreciate it. This was kind of a spontaneous video. I didn't really have a whole script plan. I really don't try to do a script, honestly. I try to be as candid as possible for you guys, make it as real as possible, and, you know, because I don't want to make this like a theatrical production, I should say, because I'm here to not only help you guys, but, you know, create this family, this community of stackers and preppers that we can learn and grow off of one another, and realize that despite our differences in how we go about stacking or prepping, we're all in this together. And the more people we can make aware of everything going on, not only around us, but what they can do to become better prepared, the less we have to worry about. So, once again, thank you if you've made it this far. Sorry if my camera's kind of zooming in and out there, it's trying to focus. I just noticed that it was doing that. But thank you for making it this far. I'd like to once again invite you to hit the subscribe button and the like button. And if you do want to be notified when a new video drops, hit the bell notification to be notified. So thanks again, and keep stacking, keep prepping, stay frosty out there, guys. Until next time.